What is up, everyone? Bitcoin putting in around a 30% candle to the downside, daily candle to the downside. Record day for Bitcoin. Fear sweeping across the globe, sweeping across traditional markets, crypto markets, whatever it is. Everything kind of in chaos right now. How can we possibly be prepared for what might happen next if things get worse? How can we look at the charts? How can we look at the best way to approach the markets, how to make decisions? I'm going to discuss these things not only from a chart perspective, but from a mental perspective. So stick around. What's up, everybody? I appreciate you coming by, especially on this crazy, crazy day. It's March 12th, 2020, a day that will live in infamous history. It's true. Let's jump into the charts. Now, I tweeted a little bit earlier, actually. I said, I'd say buy the Bitcoin dip, but I feel like that would be irresponsible. Markets are operating out of complete fear and panic, and technical analysis is next to useless until things settle down. That's true. That is 100% true. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to do this. I'm going to speak to you from 100% my perspective, my opinion, my approach, most of it mental. Most of it for the last couple of years doing videos and doing technical analysis is mental anyway. And this is when it pays off. The situation that we're in now, we have these unknown factors that have entered the market, and this is it. Putting technical analysis aside and now starting to really dig into the mental aspect of the markets. I talked about this before. I say this a lot, actually. Extreme contrast analysis. It's looking at extremes no matter where Bitcoin is trading, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 100,000. Looking at extremes. There's two scenarios at any given time. Bitcoin can continue going up, or Bitcoin could fail. Bitcoin could go to zero. We say that on this channel because it's true. There's no guarantees when you're investing in something like Bitcoin. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And then you have these other factors like what's going on in the world, and then it starts impacting price. And these are the factors that we have to mentally prepare for. And here we are. So just for context, if you're looking at the charts right now, this is what it looks like. This is a daily chart. You know, it doesn't even look crazy. It really is record setting. Bitcoin, if you look at this chart for the daily candle, right around 28%. If you look at the last 5 or 6 days, we're looking at 37% to the downside. To put some things into perspective, though, I do want to say this. Do you remember the record-setting breakouts in October Bitcoin had? Here's here's 2 daily candles, 40% to the upside. We have to take those things into account. We know Bitcoin is volatile. So when we have massive fear just sweeping the country, sweeping the globe, I should say, Bitcoin's going to be crazy volatile, right? But look at Bitcoin in October, 40% to the upside in a matter of days. And this wasn't even, nothing really was happening. Bitcoin just took off. This happens anyway for Bitcoin. So even if nothing was happening in the world right now and Bitcoin dropped 37%, I'd probably be doing a video saying to you, wow, this is not fun, but it's normal. And this is what we look at. If you go back to my videos, I do technical analysis a lot. If you go back to last week's videos, 2 weeks ago, I keep these yellow lines that you see charted at all times. I don't always talk about them, but I keep them there because it illustrates, even subconsciously, the potential. Even if we're up here at like 10,000, we're here at 14,000. These yellow lines illustrate the potential that trend lines can be hit to the downside, meaning we're at $10,000, but I'm doing this video and I have this yellow trend line here with, sitting at $5,100. I leave those things there because I want it to always be on the forefront of our minds. Bitcoin can go down, everybody, and it can go down by 50% from $10,000. And we're in a situation right now where it's happening, right? put aside any reasons why it's happening. It's happening. It doesn't really matter why it's happening right now, but it's happening. And so when we're trading at 10,000, if we're always mentally prepared for this happening, then we can have a plan. And so my plan is this. My plan has been this. Buy heavy. Buy the dips. Buy in crazy oversold, overextension environments when it feels uncomfortable actually to buy. And that's my approach, right? So I kind of separated it into 3 factors, and I'm going to talk about those 3 factors, those 3 areas in this video. They're right here on the screen in front of you. It's not rocket science. It's my approach. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. Come up with your own plan. I'm just providing you my opinion on the markets right now. What I do want to say for just some context to this whole entire thing is this. If we zoom out on the charts, right, a lot of this is based on some technical analysis in these overextended environments. So to give you an example, we can use this illustration, which is found on the long-term charts of Bitcoin. I charted this back in December, like the bear market low back here. I charted this entire long-term trend for Bitcoin. What I want to just talk about real quick for context to this entire video and overextension is the Fibonacci retracement. So when we were trying to anticipate the bear market low, and we were trying to say, well, when's the best time to like really buy heavy for Bitcoin? We were using Fibonacci retracement, and that was essentially the last bear market low, 2015, to the bull market high, 2017, and we had this green channel, this 618 to 786. Like anywhere in there was just a great area to buy Bitcoin. And I remember we're trading in here, right? Maybe back in October 2018. And it's just like, this is a good area to buy Bitcoin. We should be accumulating. Keep in mind that was 6,300. Now, the heavy buy zone at that time was anywhere outside of that Fibonacci retracement, that overextension below it, right? And that was historically the best time to accumulate Bitcoin. Now, the same exact thing happened if we go back to the last bear market. We can also chart, a similar Fibonacci retracement channel right here, right? So we have the swing low all the way back in 2012 to the bull market high, 2013. We have a Fibonacci channel. Would be great to accumulate Bitcoin at $200 some. And what happened? It overextended the bear market low exactly like 2018, overextended, amazing area to buy. I'm covering all this because we're at a similar type of area right now. I know there's a lot of world events happening right now that are scary, that might make this even crazier. But if we zoom out on the charts, it's a little bit shorter term, but we do this. We go to our Fibonacci retracement from the bear market low to our swing high. Everybody remembers around $14,000. That was in June 2019. And we're in our Fibonacci retracement. Now, this is a good area to accumulate Bitcoin, in my opinion, even with what's going on, right? I posted a couple times lately, I bought some Bitcoin, but it gets heavier for me, right? And it gets heavier, especially as we overextend below this Fibonacci retracement area, this 618 to 786. Currently, that's $5,400 to $7,200. We're in that range now. Overextending outside of that range, good buy zone. If you have that risk tolerance to keep buying Bitcoin in this volatile world that we live in right now. The thing about it for me is if I'm not buying more than I can afford to lose, like I'm okay with it. I don't want Bitcoin to fail. I don't want it to keep going down. I don't want it to go to $3,000. But if it's going to, it's not going to ruin my life. And I think that's extremely important. Don't overextend yourself in terms of what you're investing in any markets, let alone cryptocurrency. But this is what it looks like for me. I very simply, this is what I do. I very simply just create areas where I'm comfortable. I'm going to accumulate, where I might see some actual sideways trading. Maybe we see some support at this part of the Fibonacci, right? And then maybe it bounces. Maybe we never see these prices again. Okay, I bought some Bitcoin. I'm comfortable with that. And then I get heavier with my buys as it overextends itself even more, because the next level would be outside of this green area, which is below this Fibonacci area, right? Now we're going down to like $4,800, $4,900, this second box here, right? That's another buy zone. And you can see it's confluent with this longer term yellow trend line. it would make a nice area for a higher low from the bear market low. We always said it was possible. I always said I don't think it's going to happen. Well, here we are approaching it. Great buy area in my opinion. And then the heaviest of all heavy buy areas for me, and probably my last buy area is below that, which is 4,800 down to like 4,000. And now we're overextended like crazy from this Fibonacci retracement area. We'd be overextended from there. If you look at the charts as of today, we'd be overextended from the 50 moving average by 56% if we hit $4,000. We'd be so oversold on the weekly. It would be insane, and it would just be a great area of accumulation if you have that risk tolerance once again. And this is it. Like that's it. There's no other approach in terms of these markets than just keeping it cool, taking a deep breath, coming up with your own plan. You have to ignore the noise that's on crypto Twitter, on YouTube, the hype. It gets out of hand. It can cloud your judgment. You have to just come up with your own simple approach to where you're comfortable accumulating Bitcoin. This is mine. We can throw technical analysis out of the window like 50%, because a lot of what's happening is just panic and fear, right? It's not something we can even anticipate where Bitcoin will go next. Could Bitcoin go below 4,000? Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know what's going to happen in the markets. But what I do know is these are my comfortable buy zones. This is my approach to the markets. I do think that the world will succeed in beating this thing. I tweeted the other day, God has created us to be pretty smart human beings to come up with solutions and to fight things. And, above all, I think it's so important. To give the situation to God, to trust God with this situation, to call on his name, and just do the best that we can as, a human race, right? And beat this thing. I think it's going to happen. If you even zoom out on the charts, you can go back to 2016, Bitcoin. I think I tweeted this the other day. Bitcoin right here. This was end of 2015 into 2016, like right here. Zika virus, right? And you can even look at the markets, traditional markets. You can look at Bitcoin. There's a Bitcoin dip. Interestingly enough, going into the 2016 halving, then a lot of volatility. It's definitely seemingly worse this time around. But again, a lot of challenges that the human race has faced in the past and beaten. This is another one. I think a lot will happen in the next couple weeks, which will be very telling in what happens next. But, I think above all else, we should try and just take a deep breath. If you're interested in approaching these markets from any perspective, just kind of like zoom out on the charts. As always anticipate the worst case scenario. I talk about extreme contrast analysis, and it's so important. That's something my dad taught me, and it's something that I really learned in life. Investing in real estate in 2008 got torn up. Mutual funds in 2008 got torn up. I panicked. I lost a lot of money. And now I'm in a situation where I'm looking back at that, and I feel like I've learned a big lesson over the years. And that was a big lesson back then, which is to say, this time around, at least you didn't overextend yourself, Dan. And this time around, maybe you can invest at a really solid time, because looking back a couple months from now, 6 months from now, I think this could be an amazing opportunity for everybody, right? Time will tell. There's no guarantees. That's just my thoughts. That's all I have for you. I wanted to do a quick live stream for Twitter. I'm going to post this to YouTube. If you're here right now, I appreciate you just hanging out on Twitter a little bit. I appreciate all of you just hanging out in general, right? Going through this situation. And that's, I think, very important, that we all are just there for each other, encouraging each other. There's so much division in this world. It's absolutely incredible to me. I hope that can change. I'm not sure that's really going to change much, especially going into the next election. It's sad to see, but you watching, I definitely appreciate you. I hope you're doing well out there. Hang in there. Again, take a deep breath. Come up with your own game plan. That's all I can say. Come up with your own game plan and be comfortable with it. Don't mimic what other people are doing. Don't mimic what I'm doing. Come up with your own approach. Those are my thoughts. I appreciate you in the chats. What's up, everybody? I see you. As always, I'll keep tracking this thing. I'll keep tweeting. And if you're here, you're a replay viewer on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It means a lot. We'll see what happens next. Have an awesome day on Twitter, on YouTube, in life. Enjoy life. Enjoy life. And I will see you in the next video. Have an awesome day. God bless.